Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. The recent discussion of the Buffett Rule, which was a proposal to increase taxes on the wealthy by President Obama, has focused attention on the U.S. tax rates. It's giving Americans a chance to better understand our tax policy and the economics of a free market system, or at least a partially free market system. Mitt Romney, who is the probable Republican presidential candidate, has come under attack from both Democrats and other Republican primary candidates for his high income and net worth and his low overall tax rate. The arguments are that Romney made his money by the wrong type of capitalism and that he pays too little in federal income taxes. The tax returns Romney has made public show that most of his money comes from investment returns on his holdings, rather than from wages or a salary. His overall tax rate in 2010 was 13.9%, and his estimated rate for 2011 is 15.4%. This caused a predictable outcry that his tax rate is lower than the income tax bracket of many middle-class Americans. President Obama's, for example, his 2011 tax return shows a tax rate of just over 20%. Former Republican candidate Newt Gingrich paid 31% of his 2010 income in federal income taxes. To the uninformed, these varying tax rates initially look unfair. What many people don't understand is the big difference between ordinary income from wages, a salary, short-term capital gains and interest, and passive income from stock dividends and long-term capital gains. The federal government taxes ordinary income at up to 35% and passive income at 15%. So why the different rates? So President Obama says it's a fairness question. Well, first let's look at dividend income and long-term capital gains taxes on investments that are held over 12 months. Dividends come from corporations that must first pay income tax on any profit. Long-term capital gains come from shares of a company purchased and held for more than 12 months. Since the effective corporate rate is 39.2%, which is the top federal rate and the average tax rate, the corporations already pay taxes on all income, including that which is being paid out to investors as dividends. Now, the U.S. has the highest corporate rates in the entire world. So that's probably something for us not to be proud of, as the rest of the world has been clamoring to reduce their rates. The average corporate rate around the world is 25%. Now, prior to the Bush tax cuts in 2001, dividends were then additionally taxed at almost 40%. This means every dollar of dividend income that was taxed twice. It was taxed once at the corporate level at 39.2%, and then back then at the personal level at 40%. The result was that 60 cents out of every dollar of profit made by a company was paid to the federal government. The Bush tax cuts continued the practice of double taxation, but lowered the amount paid at the individual level to 15%. The same double taxation applied to long-term capital gains, except that the tax rate was a flat 28% back in 2001, before it was reduced to the current 15%. Now, this double tax makes it seem that the wealthy pay less tax than they really do. An individual may pay 15% on passive income of, say, $5 million, yet corporations have already paid taxes of around 39.2% on that same income. It's a total tax rate of 54.2%. The $5 million in profit, over $2.5 million goes to Uncle Sam. That would seem to be a little more than their fair share. According to the Congressional Budget Office figures from 2011, the top 1% of taxpayers pay an average of 29.5%. Those in the percentiles from 81 to 99% pay 22.8%. 8% of their income in taxes. And those in the 21st through the 80th percentile pay 15.1%. The bottom 20% pay just 4.7%. Now those numbers don't include the 49.5% of Americans who pay 0 federal income taxes. Even factoring in the different tax rates on ordinary and passive income, it's pretty clear that the more money Americans earn, the more tax they pay. And I ask you, what could be more fair than that?